Morning, everyone. First meeting of this group, so kind of learning as they go here, but the first portion of this, we're going to be having a work session, but before we do, let's please stand and do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
All right, and so I'm just going to turn it right over to you. And your start. So transportation disadvantage program presentation. So really help.
Sure. So, quick question, who hasn't been to one of these before? Think you don't count. Okay, so a lot of you have seen it before. Nothing much has changed. Just quick updates to a few slides, I'll call those out. And for those that haven't seen it, I'll do my best to explain what's going on. So this is a quick snapshot of what the organizational structure looks like for the actual transportation disadvantage system. So it all starts in the top. Obviously, the riders are the most important, and they're the top. So there's the governor. The governor appoints the commission for the transportation disadvantage. From there, the transportation disadvantage designates planning agencies, normally the MPO. By default, there is other options to where it can be another agency that provides transportation planning within the area of the commission, or I should say of the LCB, which is the next one. So the DOPE is called the DOPA, the designated official planning agency. Then appoints and staffs the LCB, which is all of you is here. We do that, we take a different approach of that. The planning agency, the MPO in this case, does not do it by itself. It works with the counties and the county's commissioners to appoint all of you to the organization, and uses references from the same board, from the members in it. From there, the LCB then does oversees. So the LCB oversees the CTC, which in this case is MCAT. MCAT is appointed by the LCB and is presented to the TD Commission every 5 years. MCAT is up for reappointment next year. So that means that for you, all of you that were part of the evaluation that we did a month ago, next year, MCAT does not have the evaluation because we will be going through the redesignation. The redesignation is, like I mentioned, is presented to the commission by the planning agency. The last few rounds has been me. Probably will continue to be me for a little while. And from there, the system breaks out into different areas of if the CTC does not provide the service by itself, which we'll go into it in a little while on a different slide. It has transportation operators, and from there it continues to trickle down to the purchasing agencies, which many of you here are purchasing agencies. And at the end, again, the transportation riders. That's a very long system, try to explain as short as possible. So the transportation disadvantaged riders. So who do we serve? We serve the elderly, I should probably say, persons with disability, people with low income that fall into a specific tier, and children at risk. What could they use the service for? What could they be riding for? Well, that would be medical services, work, schools, and grocery stores. Okay, this slide tries to explain the TD program in one slide. As you all may know, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but we try to do our best in one slide to provide everybody with a snapshot as to what we're trying to do. So think about it as a three-legged stool, like you're seeing on your right side of your screen. So the three legs are the planning agency or the DOPA, the CTC, aka MCAT in this case, and the LCB, what we're doing here today. So the coordinated system was established in 1979. Subsequently, 10 years later, the TD Trust Fund came around. And the purpose was to deliver coordinated transportation services within each county. And then it implements primary, three primary entities, which we just went through those. And again, the CTD works works with state and local organizations to create a partnership to provide the best service that we can, and obviously provides reimbursement for the CTC door-to-door service through the subsidies. So what is the, I mentioned the CTD, the Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged. So a summary of responsibilities for the CTD, sorry. It's an independent agency that is administratively housed in the DOT, which has a board, kind of what the counties have. There's elected officials that sit on that board and make the decisions as to what the future of the organization is going to look like and what new items are going to be brought up. They tend to meet quarterly. And they administrate the TD Trust Fund. Again, develop policies and procedures that govern the coordinated transportation system. Like I mentioned earlier, approves the CTC contracts every 5 years. And obviously designates the planning agency. The DOPA. All these acronyms kind of get complicated, so trying to do my best at it, which again is normally defaulted to the MPO as a planning agency for the region. It doesn't have to be, but it normally is. It's probably 99% of the state is an MPO, the DOPA. So this is a snapshot of the trust fund revenue. I can say that this represents roughly little less than $800,000, an increase from last year. And its majority is funded by state. Well, it's 100% is funded by state funds. So you can see the greatest section of it, the biggest part of it comes from the vehicle registration. So every time you renew your vehicle, part of that money that's collected when you renew or register your vehicle, it goes to the TD Trust Fund and then gets provided through a formula grant to the organization that are providing the service. So these are the different agreements with the CTD. I do have to mention that there's one that is not there that I forgot to put in, which is the ISD grant, which we'll go through a few minutes. So I guess the biggest one and the most commonly used one is a trips and equipment grant, which is what most of CTCs use to fund part of the service. We all know the level of funding that is provided through the TD sometimes is not enough to cover the whole system. And in addition to that, we have the memorandums of agreement, which everybody knows pretty much what a MOA is. The Shirley Conroy grant, which is provided to, is a the competitive grant also that is, that the CTDs can apply for, CTCs can apply for additional funding. And the one that's not there, which is the ISD grant, the ISD grant is the innovative, what was it, innovative service development grant. It's basically, a grant that, again, the CTCs can apply for, which is for new cutting edge services to be provided to the TD. So if there's a specific software or something that they believe that would assist in bettering and providing service to the disadvantaged communities, they can apply to that. It does have limits. If it's a one county area organization or CTC, it has a limit of $750,000. If it's a 2 or more, it has a limit of $1.5 million. So the designated planning agent, in this case, the MPO. So the planning agency responsibilities, you know, again, maybe an MPO as a regional planning council or other local organization performing planning activities, assist the CTC and the LCB in implementing the TD program, staffs and appoints the LCB, facilitates the procurement of the CTCs. They call it procurement, but because the designation of the redesignation process of the CTC is it's if it's not a government agency that's gonna do it, you have to do a procurement out. You have to put an RFP out for any organization that's not a government agency that wants to provide the service. It normally defaults to the transit agencies within that jurisdiction. And at least for us, it's been like that for since I have records of there hasn't been a procurement out for the CTC. Again, it supports the CTC and LCB in developing the TD service plan, better known as a TDSP. It reviews the CTC annual operating report, which we'll do in the subsequent meeting after this workshop. So the local coordinating board, what we're doing here today, a little while. So it identifies local service needs, provides information, advice, and direction for the CTC and of its services, and serves as an advisory body to the commission regarding, you know, any particular situations that may have come up, or provide input that we're seeing in our area that maybe it hasn't reached the CTD level yet. I do add that we have an annual, they call the TD roundtable, which the planning agencies and transit agencies and the commission get together and we discuss these situations that have come up that need to be addressed, that maybe we can do better, maybe the commission can do better. In general, that's what that process looks like. So the board duties, this is a little bit longer slide. So it assists the CTC in establishing eligibility guidelines, it evaluates the performance, it reviews and approves the TDSP and the memorandum of understanding, appoints a grievance committee, meets at least quarterly, reviews and recommends other fundings and applications, reviews strategies of the service provisions to the area, and evaluates multi-county or regional transportation opportunities. Oh, here we are, last tier, the CTC. There's 3 ways the CTC can provide the service. It could be a sole source that basically receives the funds, provides the service, administrates the service. Like it says, a sole source, they take care of it. It could be a partially brokered, meaning they do part and they contract part of it out, or it could be fully brokered where the CTC decides that they're gonna contract the full service out to an external organization, and they're just gonna oversee the process, and that agency will submit the invoices to the CTC, they'll review it and then the CTC will send it forward to the commission. So this is how the CTCs are selected. First, they're interested organization respond to a planning agency's request for a community transportation coordinator, aka that procurement that we normally, thank God we haven't gone through. Then the planning agency submits the recommendations to the TD commission, like I mentioned earlier, via the meeting that's done every quarter, yes. And again, MCAT will be up for resignation, for redesignation, don't resign. For redesignation next year, so we will be taking care of that, and again, once they redo their, I don't know, I'm not gonna repeat that word, cause I'll say you guys resigned again. It's good for 5 years. So here's the duties of the CTD, sorry. Of the CTD. So it plans and administrators, monitors, coordinates, arranges and delivers coordinated transportation disadvantaged services. Originated in a designated service area, so it operates as a centralized call center. Determines transportation eligibility, schedules trips, performs gatekeeping duties, invoices purchasing agency. Develops the TDSP in coordination with the LCB. It prepares and submits AOR, which we'll see in a little while in our LCB meeting, and recommends eligibility guidelines and trip prioritization to the local coordinating board for non-stop process trip. We haven't, MCAT hasn't reached the level of where it has to prioritize trips. So we haven't seen that yet. You guys.
Alright. Should I stand or is it okay? So. Okay. Alright, so I'm Sarah Goolsby with Benish, representing MCAT today. But we just have some information from fiscal year 2024 trips that I'll go over here today. So fiscal year 2024, that ran from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. And you'll see in this graphic that MCAT provided almost 76,000 TD trips in fiscal year 2024, which is about a 30% increase from that drop off in 2021 that was from COVID. So the trips are steadily increasing, and they have been over the last 5 years. And then if you include the trips provided by the coordination contractors, the total trips, that's about a 35% increase from 2021. So increasing all sides. Next slide. Then as far as the trip purpose of these trips provided in fiscal year 2024, 36% of those trips were medical trips, so trips to medical appointments. 23% were for education training or daycare trips. 14% were life-sustaining or other. 19% were employment trips, and then 8% were nutritional trips. And then as far as trips by funding source, so majority of those 66% were ADA, 16% were APD, or agencies for persons with disabilities. So that little sliver, I can't tell what percentage that is, but that's from the Department of Elder Affairs, and then 10% from CTD, and then 7% is made up of other funding sources. And then for the operating expenses, so about half, 49% were from local funds. 38% from federal assistance, 12% from state funds, and then about 1% from fairs.
So ultimately, we've gone through. How the system works, you know. Snapshot of how the system works, who the designated planning organization is. What do they do, what does the CTC do? What does the LCB do? But then. Who is all this for? And who's the purchasing side? Where does these trips, you know, originate, and what are the organizations that I guess we can say benefit from the whole TD service area? So these are commonly referred to as purchasing agencies. As you may note, a lot of these agencies that are on the screen have a seat here in the LCBs, because they have a stake in the whole system, and they do provide the service after the transportation service. Does that make any sense? So they're the ultimate purchasers of the trips, and out of the trip, other than groceries and standalone medical, these are where a lot of the trips that are provided go and come from. So we want to recognize who the agencies are that are purchasing the transportation services. Yeah, you can see a few there. You have the Department of Elderly Affairs, you have the Veterans, Department of Education, Healthcare Administration, General, so on and so on. So the CTD, what is the eligibility criteria? So for the trust fund eligibility criteria, so the commission establishes guidelines for the transportation eligibility. And then the local coordinating board develop eligibility policies based on chapter 427 of the Florida statute and commission guidelines. So what are the eligibility criteria as adopted May 22nd of 1997? And that there is no other funding available, that there's no other means of transportation, cannot use public transportation, fixed route, or other means of fixed route like on-demand service and stuff like that, which we've seen that has gained a lot of ground in the last few years. Has physical and mental disabilities, age, income status, cannot be self-declared, declaration allowed, and has some sort of ability to pay in some way or form. So how can you help? General. So there's a public dollar work. How does it work? Many of these come, like I mentioned earlier, from the vehicle registration. There's also a way when you do your vehicle registration or renew your registration, you can check the box, and there's a voluntary dollar option that you can check and provide. It can be as low as $1. I can't say that there's very little to none funding received in at least in our 2-county jurisdiction, the MPO2 county area, where the funding isn't really received at all. So we try to put this out every year, and then as many times as we can, for anybody that, you know, when you renew your vehicle, if you're feeling the urge to donate something, that you click on that, you check mark on that TD voluntary dollar box, and you can, like I said, you can go as low as $1 or as high as you want. So some upcoming events that's worth mentioning. The upcoming LCB meeting will be September 10th and then November 12th of this year. The CTD meeting, the next one that's scheduled is June 26, 2025 at 1 o'clock in Tallahassee or virtual via Teams. There is I believe the next one after that one they mentioned is December that they're looking at, but it's still not scheduled. They still don't have the date and time as to when the CTD next meetings are. And the last but not least, the FPTA Annual Conference and Expo, it's September 2nd through the 4th. We were notified a week or so ago that the roundtable will take place during the FPTA Annual Conference. We still don't have the date as to when. Obviously, it'll be between the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th, sorry. We still don't have the time and date as to when that's gonna happen. That'll be in St. Pete Beach. Any questions? Hopefully not.
Not really a question, but would you be able to share that flyer, check the box with me so I can share with our, child welfare community partners and put it out there, and maybe people would be willing to, think about it next time they register the vehicle, and, because, we're serving the elderly and we're serving the at-risk. So it makes sense if I post it out there.
Sure. Yeah, we'll get the flyer and what we'll do is we'll send it out to everybody in the LCB. That way everybody has it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right, and you're gonna send information about the annual conference out no more.
Yes, about the roundtable, yes, I can send it out. As far as the actual FPTA conference, Rachel, can you put a note? We'll just send out the invite that we received to it. We'll just send that out to everybody, so they have the information. Any more questions?
Oh, sorry, and the CTD meeting in Tallahassee, we will have access to the Zoom link for the teams.
I need to double check that. If not, if it is, we can make it available, or we'll get your email and we'll include you on. We'll send it over to the commission, have you included in moving forward, so it's not that you don't get any other notification from me. Any other questions? No? You sure? On once, on twice, 3 times, done.
You good?
Sure.
All right, our next meeting, that was the